it's Liv and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. If you are, hi, my name is Liv. It is so nice to finally meet you. So for today's video, I wanted to take advantage of the fact that spring is upon us, whether it may or may not feel like it. I am currently in the Midwest where it does not feel that much like spring, but we're just gonna go with it. And today I want to talk to you guys about some book series that I want to try to read during the course of this next season. So I have 7 books here for you guys, and all of them are actually part of different series, whether I have read the majority of the books or not. But without further ado, if you'd like to know the books that I'm looking forward to getting to read this spring, then just keep on watching. So the first book I want to talk about today is actually kind of a reread, and it is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. The Raven Boys follows the story of our main character Blue, who is from a family of psychics. However, she herself does not have any psychic abilities, but instead she is able to enhance the powers of those around her. And Blue has been told ever since she was a child that the moment she kissed her true love, he was fated to die. Along the way, Blue finds herself crossing paths with these 4 really rich prep school boys called the Raven Boys on their quest to find this long-lost Welsh king. This is a reread for me in the sense that I have read the first book in this series, however I have not read the other 3, but I would really finally like the opportunity to do so, but it's been so many years since I first read this book, so this is a very high priority on my list of reads this spring. It is also one of my TBR books for the Magical Readathon, so it will be getting read next month. I am absolutely ecstatic to finally get to finish this series. It's high time. It's finally time. I've put this off for way too long, and it's time. The next book I want to talk about today is one that I have looked forward to finally getting to say that I am planning to read for so many years now, but it is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, which is the beginning of the Dark Artifices trilogy following Shadowhunters in Los Angeles. I have looked forward to finally getting to read this book since it came out, and honestly, it's the cover that sold me. Can we just talk about the cover here for a second? And how beautiful that is. Now that I have met our main character Emma in City of Heavenly Fire, I'm so excited to see what she gets up to all on her own. Like, Emma and Julian already have such a special place in my heart, and I'm so excited to see them grow and change now that it's 5 years since the events of the Mortal Instruments. They've grown up, they're teenagers, they're parabatai, and I'm way too emotional for someone who has only seen them in one book, so I don't know what's going to happen to me when I read this series, but this is going to be a journey. The next book I want to talk about might surprise a lot of you that I have never read before, but it is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, which is the prequel to the Throne of Glass series. I know I've mentioned a million times on my channel that Throne of Glass is my favorite book of all time. The Throne of Glass series is my favorite book series. However, there is I think it's a good reason why I've never read this, but it might not be that great of a reason. My excuse for not reading this is, I don't know, I just feel like I have lived so long knowing that, like, I finish all the books, I know how the story ends, but knowing that there's still something out there from the Throne of Glass series that I've never read, so the series for me isn't technically over. I have relished in that for the longest time, and now I think it's finally time to read the prequel, see what Selena got up to before the events of the book. Honestly, I know there's some characters in the series that have either A, completely gone over my head not knowing who they were, or characters who popped up and everyone knew them and they became important, and so I've learned to love them in that aspect, but not knowing them from this book. So it is finally time that I get to see what Selena's been up to. It's finally time I can say that I have read the entirety of the Throne of Glass series. It's been years now since I finished the books, so my excuses are running out, my time is limited, and I'm finally gonna read this. So the next book I have for you here is the first of a trilogy that I plan on reading, and it is Illuminate. I know my friend Sydney over at the Bookworm, this is like her favorite book of all time, and she just raves about how much she loves it. And I've started it. I've been kind of reading this on and off for the longest time now, but it's finally time that I work more towards finishing it and getting to read the other books. It follows the story of 2 teenagers, Katie and Ezra, who broke up that morning, and that afternoon their planet was invaded and destroyed. Illuminate is told in a mixed media format full of like emails, pictures, letters, everything. So that's a really interesting aspect, and it's not one that I see in many books, so that's what really caught my eye about this series, and I know it as it has so many others. So I'm finally excited to finally finish this book, jump on the hype train, finally finish a J. Kristoff book. I know if you've seen my video where I talked about popular authors I've never read, he was like at the very top of the list of an author that I've never read but I would love to finally get into. So if I can finally finish this one, get a J. Kristoff book under my belt, then I could not be more excited. The next series I want to talk about is another reread for me, and it's one that I really don't see anyone talk about here on BookTube, which makes me kind of sad because it was one of my favorite series ever when I was in high school. But it is Born at Midnight, which is the first Shadow Falls novel by C.C. Hunter. Born at Midnight follows the story of our main character Kylie, who is being sent off to a summer camp for troubled youth by her mother. However, when she gets there, she discovers that it's actually a summer camp for supernatural beings, namely werewolves, fairies, and vampires. Kylie herself is never known to be any sort of supernatural being. She can't really find herself fitting in with any of the class systems at camp. However, there are different things about her that she knows that something's different, she just doesn't know what exactly it is, and it starts with the fact that every student at the camp was born at midnight. I first finished the series when I was 15 years old, so it has been quite a few years since I read these books, but I remember just absolutely loving them. So I want to go back and reread them and see if as an adult my tastes are kind of the same, because I know my tastes have changed drastically over the years. So I want to see if this is something that I would still enjoy just as much as I did then, or maybe even more so now. The next book I want to talk about is actually the only one that is a standalone as of now, because it just came out. The next book isn't out yet, but it is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, which is the first book in the Crescent City series. The story follows our main character Bryce Quinlan, who is half fae and half human, and it's kind of a supernatural murder mystery because Bryce is teamed up with fallen angel Hunt Athalar to try and solve this mass murder case. This book is very long, which is kind of why you can tell my bookmark's right here. So I'm not like super far into it yet. I'm slowly working my way through it. It's an 800-page beast of a book, and I know that once it picks up, it's gonna pick up and I'm just gonna fly through it like that. However, I'm not quite there yet. So I'm slowly making my way through it. I'm enjoying my time. I really like this book so far. I love Sarah J. Maas's writing style, and I think this book is really gonna like show off the range that she does have when it comes to her stories. So I'm so excited to finally delve further into things, see how this whole mystery plays out. I am filming a reading vlog for this, so look out for that. It will be a spoiler-filled one for those of you who have already read the book, so keep an eye out. And finally, the last book I want to talk about today is the first book in a 4-book series, and it is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Caballero. This story follows the descendants of Sherlock and Watson at a school in Connecticut where they are rivals who have to team up to solve the case of the death of one of their fellow students. This is a book that I've wanted to read for the longest time, and I know a friend of mine really likes it and she's always telling me that I need to read it, so I've owned this first book. I want to say I've had this for like a year now. It is not quite a TBR veteran, but it is on its way to getting there. So, and it's decently short, so I feel like this is one that I could get through fairly quickly. Like maybe if I'm in a reading slump, just need to pick up something quick and easy. I really, really love a good murder mystery now and then. If you guys don't know, Truly Devious is one of my favorite series ever. So I feel like this is gonna be right up my alley, right what I'm kind of after at the moment. And also I have mentioned before that I am a sucker for Next Generation Descendants of Anything, and I absolutely loved the Tales of Sherlock Holmes, so getting to see Sherlock and Watson's descendants kind of doing the same thing is just, it's all I can ask for, really. Alright, and there you have it, guys. These are the series that I am hoping to get through during this spring season. As you can tell, I have quite a bit of reading ahead of me, and I'm so excited because I think I've got some good stuff here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you did enjoy it. Please be sure to leave me a comment down below telling me what book you are most excited to read during the spring season, or if you have read any of these books that I've listed down below, what were your thoughts on them? I really want to know. If you're not subscribed to this channel already, you can do so by hitting that button down below, and you can also click that bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video, because I do upload every Monday and every Thursday, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. The Magical Readathon is coming up, and I am planning on doing weekly vlogs, so look out for those coming soon. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!